Hey, live on YouTube, and now we're gearing up to go live on Instagram. Today is Talk About It Tuesday. So we are going to give the Jedi Mind trick of the day to spice up your regular Taco Tuesday day. So let's jump in. Let's get live here on Instagram. For those of you guys who are not able to join us, there we go. Hey guys, it's Talk About It Tuesday, and this is just hacking into your live feed to give you another Jedi Mind trick to help you navigate the world of illusion and to beat the virtual holographic game of creating your own reality. Hello, Michelle. You are on my list actually to connect with ASAP. So you will be getting a message from me right after this. Thank you for being here. You reminded me. All right. So I cannot necessarily see the live feed on YouTube, but I'm going to jump in because I know your time is valuable. It is your true currency. So the Jedi Mind Hack of today is what I'm calling spiritual camouflage. And I know that you cannot see me right now. You can't see me at all, right? Because I'm in the camouflage. But what this concept is really about is what I have seen over the last 15 years of coaching is this double-minded desire, right? On one side, this true desire to be seen and heard and understood and valued and really be able to let your light shine and give your gift to the world and be of service, while the other side of you is like, I don't want to be seen, I want to be invisible, I fear what people think, I'm afraid of judgment, I'm afraid the system's going to see me. You know, it's like on one side of us, we want to hack the matrix. And on the other side, we're like, I want to stay invisible. Okay. Now, there's only two ways that you can truly become invisible to the matrix, right? And number one is one I highly recommend that you do not choose. You can if you want, you have free will. And that is true conformity. Okay, true conformity, right? Because again, if you conform and you get in line, well, then nobody's going to be necessarily rustling your feathers. But see, here's the thing. There isn't anyone on the planet that is in true conformity of this system, because you may be behaving the way the matrix wants you to. You could go show up at your job, you could pay your taxes on time, you can pick up trash on the side of the street, you can volunteer your time, you can get your 401ks, you can do all the things that the matrix tells you to do, be the consumer, right, and use the insurance programs that they have. And again, there is going to be part of your spirit that is going to be in rejection of your lack of freedom. No matter who you are, even if you can't hear this message because it's out of your vibrational reality and someone may call you a sheep, there is still going to be an essence where maybe possibly even in your dream state, you're going to be questioning things. And so it is damn near impossible to truly be in conformity, because even in conformity, there's going to be some sort of true essence within, right? So let's go to the real way that you can create spiritual camouflage, which means that you are here to be a spiritual being in a physical body. You are here to demonstrate all that you are in your omnipresent state in physical form. Now, I can see, because I have gone through this process myself, how scary that can be at times to be seen and heard and have different belief systems and different ways that you want to create a reality that go against the grain of how the system is programming you constantly. It's like to be the consumer, believe everything you hear, do as you're told, right? Stay in your square, live in your box, don't ruffle the feathers, right? Don't piss anyone off, right? Just be the perfect little sheep or the slave. And I'm sure that there is a part of you that is in constant rebellion and tantrum of that. But again, it's like, where do you go to experience when you want to turn it off and when you turn it on? Like, one of my favorite scenes of Star Wars is when Obi-Wan says, he uses the Jedi Force to get the guards to let them go. He uses the Force and says, these are not the droids you're looking for, and they let him go. So if you've ever had that experience, it was because you were in a particular frequency, Okay? And that frequency is called neutrality. Now, in order for you to become a real powerful creator in the new game that we are creating here, then you will have to start truly training to become non-dualistic, which means you cannot be double-minded and really have any power in the new game, because the new game is about win-win. It is about this and that. It is about dark and light is working in coherency to create expansion, right? And truly understanding that the biggest changes you've ever made in your life came from the dark pushing you to your end. Like you got sick and tired of being sick and tired. So you use the dark to take your power back, and you will continue to do that to evolve into this diamond state through the pressurization. So that's a given, right? It is only when you are intentionally hiding that it seems like you are the most exposed. Because if you are going to truly learn how to master this game, you're going to have to understand the universal laws and the law of resistance. That which you resist, right, persists. So whatever you're actually hiding from, okay, you're not truly camouflaged from, you're hiding. Well, did you know you glow from that? You glow in the dark, which means that the more you try to hide your light, the more you're like this glowing being, and you are easy to see. So there's only 3 ways that the darkness can hold you hostage in your cage, okay? And it is all mental warfare. It is all mental warfare. And how they do it is they use 3 aspects of things that scare and terrify you. And no, it's not the monster under your bed anymore. The 3 things that the darkness uses to motivate you to enslave yourself here is number 1, your character, right? So they are going to shame your character if you come out as a spiritual teacher, or you're going to have your character defiled or your reputation ruined. Been there, done that. Okay. The second one is they're going to bring up your past. Have you ever been in a toxic narcissistic relationship where you were literally held hostage by your past? Or you couldn't get out of a situation because of your past, or someone judged who you were becoming right now because of your past, right? So you can identify with these 2 elements. And the third one, and this one, you guys, is the most tricky for those of you who are or would consider yourself good people, loving people, kind people. This is going to be your attachments to your obligations, your commitments, your standards of what you believe is right and wrong, and how you are entrapped in your own commitments and how you see yourself. So your attachments are going to be what continue to enslave yourself, even though there's a brand new game. This is why when we're teaching about the 5D Jedi Mastery, it is all about non-attachment, and it is all about non-duality. Because ultimately, how are you going to be seen by the unseen, or how are you going to be seen in the dark? Well, realize that nocturnal animals, they can see at night because they're feeling the energy, or they're sensing the heat. And there's 2 magnetic forces that are, at least in this dimensional game, in this game that we're playing here, the 2 frequencies that have the greatest magnetic charge, which means bringing things to you, okay, and bringing you to other things. Number 1 is fear. Fear makes you extremely magnetic to that which it is. So you actually attract yourself. So even if you're trying to hide from fearful things, or fearful things happening to you, or you experiencing fearful things, the more fear you generate in your body, the more electromagnetic energy you become, and the more of a fear magnet you become. Okay, that's why it's a self-proving prophecy. That's why you could say, I'm afraid of this. See, because you have a reticular activator, which is part of your brain, that is the example of when you're in the market of buying a blue car. Now you start seeing blue cars everywhere because your brain is using that what you are focused on, either in denial, resistance, or deliberate focus. It is amplifying and bringing your awareness to that which you are either consciously or subconsciously thinking about in resistance or approval, and now you're seeing it everywhere. So if you have a fear, like a deep fear of being seen, then you're magnifying that. And now you're like hiding in your house and you're like wearing all black and you don't even have a picture on your social profile. You're just like, doom scrolling in privacy. And somehow you are the one that gets judged, attacked, because fear is a magnet. Now, flip side, right? The other most powerful force, at least in this realm, in this game that we're playing, that has the greatest magnetic charge is joy, right? And joy has a magnetic charge to joy. So to be a joyful person is not something that you do to be. It is something you generate out of nowhere. You just generate being joyful. You generate joyfully doing the laundry. You joyfully fold the laundry. And joy is the state of kind of ecstatic bliss. And that is a frequency that will not only kind of hide you in the matrix, but it will also attract like-minded people, places, and things, opportunities, circumstances, and events to you that are in alignment of that. And I wanted to make sure we got everything. Okay, we got the 3 factors. Conformity, neutrality. Okay, so let's go move into the 2 kind of big forces that you're going to want to like either utilize or work on. And let's go into the 0-point energy here. Oops. Pause due to poor connection. We're reconnecting. Okay, poor connection. Okay, so let's go into the 0-point energy, which is your true power, right? Your 0 point or your balance, okay? So the balance to me is what we would call neutrality. Now, if you have studied the dark magic of the occult, they will tell you the frequency they use to go underneath the wire and avoid karma is indifference. They don't actually create karma for themselves or cause and effect, bringing things in and out, if they are in a state of indifferent, which means, right? There isn't bad, there isn't good. So this is your power frequency, is neutrality. When you are neutral to everything that is happening out there, and you are also neutral to everything that could happen, right? And you're also neutral to everything that you want to happen. And you're also neutral to everything you don't want to happen. This is when you have the power of the divine hypnotherapist with all things. Because in that 0 point, what is called the void, you have the ability to focus on that which you desire. And if you use a neutral energy in that, right, you're not creating a charge. So positive and a negative is going to create a neutrality point. It's going to neutralize themselves. So what happens with a lot of like empaths and sensitive people, and people have like really big hearts to help the world, and yet they're in judgment of the system. You guys are in the worst position to not be able to hide. When you are like a bleeding heart where you want to like rescue all of your family because they're not awake, but at the same time you're like mad at the system, you are literally matrix food. You are going to get loosed, you are going to get judged, and no matter how much you try to hide in your house by yourself and just go below the radar, you literally are like lighting up like 4th of July, vibrationally. Because you have to understand that dark and light do not see each other by what you're wearing, the color of your skin, what you're actually saying. It's your signature frequency. So it's almost like the song that your soul is playing and the sum measure of your vibrations, of your mind, of your emotions, of your soul, of your spirit, of your body. That's all going to fall into an algorithm, and it's going to generate a core frequency that either is going to constantly be getting you attacked and judged, or it's going to be constantly putting you into a state of alignment of all things you desire. Well, what we're talking about today is when you're in that in-between state. Because one thing that I know about going through this experience is there's dark nights. There's days where you're in grief. There's days where you're angry. There's days where you can't find joy no matter what. but you don't want to live in that fearful place anymore. And so kind of like while you're doing your spiritual weeding and seeding process where you're clearing out your shadow aspects and you're bringing back in your inner child, there's going to be times when you literally kind of just want to go under the radar, but still be able to use your Jedi mind force. And remember, what is the force? It is the 4 elements that are of the universe created into a flow of source energy. So it's like one source, 4 different elements, which is spirit, mind, emotion, embodiment. And so when all 4 of those are in harmony, you have the force. Now, the force can be used by the darkness and it can be used by the light because it is literally just subtle energy. It's ether. It's alive in all things. But what the darkness needs to do is get you, who has a body, to host their work because they do not have that which you have naturally. You have your connection to source energy. Your heart is a stargate, right? You have this electromagnetic quantum bio supercomputer that can be used like a touchscreen computer and driven and projected dimensionally wherever the spirit is driving you. So you've got to think to yourself, what is the spirit that is causing me to hide? You know, what part of me wants to shine? Now, in the scripture, it says you cannot have 2 masters. So as long as you remain double-minded, which means that your desire of your inner child to shine and play and be adventurous and be noble and be excited, but then one part of you is like, I'm afraid to fly, and what if something bad happens to me and I can't leave my family behind? This right here is going to put you into what we would call a fear signature. It's in a double-minded split energy, which means you cannot use the force whatsoever because the 4 elements are not in harmony. So what you can do is you can work on those 3 aspects that can be held against you in a court of law in the matrix, and you can get neutral on them. That's your power play. That's your spiritual camouflage. Look at all the things that your character could be judged about, right? Okay, we're all human. Okay, we've all been playing in the dark. We've all been raised by the dark. We've all been taught not to trust ourselves. We've all been taught to lie. We've all been taught to judge. Okay, get over it. There's going to be parts of your character who you are not today that someone could use against you. As long as you get completely neutral on all aspects of your character and you move into a frequency called acceptance, acceptance is the frequency of love, unconditionally. If I can accept all of my character flaws from the past, present, and possible future, then that cannot be used against me because it's now neutral. If you can become very neutral to all of your past, the best and worst parts of you, if you can find neutrality, which means you give love to the parts of you that you cannot change, you accept those parts of you that were unconscious making those choices or those relationships that hurt you. You don't have to go into full forgiveness, but full compassion of the situation that brought you into who you are today. Then you can get neutral on your past. Now, final one, most difficult one for humans is to become neutral on your attachments. That means that you have to be okay with people coming and going. Remember, your player creates the playground that creates the playmates. And so if you envision and fantasize a really big playground with lots of really cool playmates, then if you're finding yourself in a really small sandbox right now with a player that doesn't feel really adventurous or safe or free, you're probably going to have some character changes in order to get to that expanded playground. And so you're going to have to look at the people, places, and things that are right now that are filling your virtual game and ask yourself, how free am I to be myself? How safe am I to be myself in these people that I come and go with every day? And if the answer is I'm not, then there's no way you're going to allow yourself to get into a bigger playground with different kinds of playmates. So by doing this 3 neutrality-based work, you are creating spiritual camouflage for yourself so that you can make the changes and grow accordingly underneath the radar while still continuing to hold on to your force, which is your creative, divine, omnipresent power as a child of God. You will always be, no matter what you believe. But the matrix is designed to keep you double-minded. It's like you're constantly being inspired by all of this really cool things, and you're also being fed all of the things that you should be afraid of and worried about. And so you're like, and then what you do is what I see so many of my clients do. They have these really big adventurous spirits, and then they're like, they start to want to go outside and like create content and create all this message or go on vacation, and they're like, and then they're like, oh, I'm not safe, I'm not free, I'm not allowed, I can't go because so and so will judge me, I don't know what to say, I don't have the money. And then they go, and then what they do instead is they go on social media for the adventure. They go on social media for the big false playground. It's like, well, I can't have a big playground or a big life, so I know I can scroll, and I can have the sensation, the dopamine hit of having a big life, and then I'll be so exhausted by the time I'm done doom scrolling or adventure scrolling that I'm okay with not doing anything, and then I do it all over again tomorrow. So the level of your hamster wheel or your Groundhog Day will tell you how double-minded you are. And remember, when you feel trapped, stuck, right, idle, unmotivated, it is coming from the contradiction of desires. Desire to be safe and the desire to be free are not getting along. So face those three blackmailing traits that the matrix always uses to keep you to choose your own jail cell. Because remember, there's no key. You lock the door yourself and say, nope, I'm not going out there. And they go, okay. And the only thing that they've done is kept you double-minded. So I hope you take this Jedi Mind Hack of the day and use this spiritual camouflage to grow yourself, because ain't nobody going to come and save you. You're the only one that can use your force, right? And when you begin to use it, you will realize that there are going to be learning curves, and there are going to be days, and there are going to be shifts and changes. But remember, God works in win-win, which means that no one has to lose for you to become an adventurer. No one has to lose and be left out and rejected for you to become bigger than you are. God has a plan for those people who you believe can't live without you. God already has a plan for them if you would just level up and rise to the occasion to be all of yourself. So I hope you got a little nugget of today, and I will see you guys all tomorrow for our Wednesday Jedi Mind Hack. Bye, guys.